But do you think that hospitality is a priority on the island? Like on the government level?
Let's be brutally honest about this.
We don't want people to come in to, let's say, do our meals and, cook that takeaway, but we still want to order it. I might be wrong, but a career as a chef, as a waiter and everything else, they're not seen as something, valuable.
Why not give it a try? What you got to lose?
How do you see the future of hospitality recruitment?
I think everybody should be given a good wage. I think everybody should be able to live. Is the minimum wage too low? Yeah, quite possibly it is.
Lee from GR8 Recruitment, thank you for being a guest on Hospitality Insights.
Thank you for having me.
That's great. It's great, it kind of works now with the company. I really wanted to get someone from the recruitment side to understand that part.
Yep.
And you're very kind to accept my invitation, and I appreciate that. It's really the part that most of the chefs and hospitality businesses are grappling with now. Mm-hmm. It seems to be that and prices. Obviously the prices probably we don't really have too much control, but it seems like the recruitment probably we have a bit more, I would say.
Yeah.
Now give us a bit of a background, like what do you do? I mean, I gave a bit of context, but yeah, just give me a bit more probably in 1 or 2 minutes before we jump into the hospitality problems.
Yeah, sure. So I set GR8 up 6 years ago after a career in the military, police, and then working for a government as a advisor and back to work. I saw a gap in the market for the blue collar sector for recruitment, and I set the company up to initially work in the construction sector. This then grew, and I was sitting outside my friend's hotel in town, and we were having a drink, and he said, "Can you find me a chef?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And that's how hospitality was born, part of the business. So then we started working with the local talent at the time, what was in the island. Brexit hadn't happened yet, so we had a lot of transient workers coming through. So we had a lot more talent coming into the island and leaving. So there's a nice flow of people, because then Europe was open market. We could actually supply hotels, and really hotels at the time or hospitality didn't really need a recruiter because they had a nice supply of staff anyway. So there wasn't really much of a need for a hospitality recruitment provider. I saw the issues with Brexit, and I also saw what's going to happen with the stream of labour from Poland, from Europe, Portugal, all around Europe, and I saw that was going to dry up because people couldn't come without a visa unless they had had spent time here already. So I started looking further afield, and we worked with Simon Saw at the Hospitality Association. We worked on the work permits, the 9-month work permits for hospitality sector. And I realised then that we needed to go out and find talent. So I started looking around the world, initially Europe. We found that Europe, a lot of people weren't going to travel to Jersey anymore. It wasn't as attractive as it used to be 15, 20 years ago. So I looked at the world, and I favoured Kenya. And I went to Kenya. I interviewed 200 people from Utali Catering College.
Did you go all the way there, or you did that remotely?
I went there.
All right.
We went there. So we set up, and we got 120 people from 200 who we thought was suitable for Jersey. We came back. Then Guernsey had the same work permits were launched. So I started working in Guernsey, and 40 jobs were offered, and then COVID struck. And everything sort of stopped. So it was at that stage, because we were then incubating that part of the business, that we realised that hospitality wants a more diverse approach. So for its staff, and not all from one country, not all Polish, not all Romanian, not all Kenyan. So then we started working in Sri Lanka, we started working in the Caribbean, we started working in China, in Asia, Central America, and we started getting talent profile from then, and then going to our client base. And following COVID, we started employing people on work permits. We started offering our service to the hospitality sector, and to date we've brought over around about 1,400 people into the hospitality sector into both islands, and the majority of those 600 to 700 are from Kenya, which is where our focus has been. Like I say, we do realise that a hotel hospitality business doesn't want all one nation working there. So it's nice to have that cultural mix. For example, the Grand Hotel, I've got a fantastic, I think got 30 nationals working in the hotel. The same now with the Royal Yacht. And we're seeing a great demand for the global talent. And it's something that we become very, very good at. We are a global recruiter. We recruit globally for Jersey, Guernsey and the Isle of Man. And we start recruiting into the UK now as well.
How do you see the difference between, because you do, okay, I didn't even know that UK is in a mix too, but if let's say between Jersey and Guernsey, because I would kind of want to keep it here to a degree, what do you see the differences? Are it exactly the same issues? Do they encounter exactly the same problem in terms of like attracting staff, or there is a differentiation between Jersey and Guernsey when they need staff in hospitality from all points of view, basically?
It's very similar. It's a very, very similar. I think the current work permit provision in Guernsey is better than we have in Jersey. I think they've got it right. I think we could probably learn a little bit more from them. The issue around accommodation is prevalent. I think certainly there is not a recruitment crisis for hospitality in the Channel Islands anymore. There's not. There's a solution. It's easily found. You can certainly get it. We've had no problems getting accommodation for people. We've helped businesses get accommodation. So there's always a way. Wherever there's a problem, there's a solution. And that's how we focus our business and we fix things and make things happen. So the two islands are very, very similar in their needs. And very similar in some of the issues that they have based around a perception of accommodation or maybe sometimes it is accommodation is an issue. But like as a recruiter, I employ directly 70 people. I've never had an issue finding accommodation.
But what's the process? Like I feel like now probably, I don't know how it works, because it's something new, I guess, even for Jersey or Guernsey, bringing people all the way from Kenya, having someone that's specifically doing that, like you, for example, trying to find people for the right places. But then, I feel like I remember like years back, or when I was doing hospitality, it was more of a like the business was selecting the employee, and now it almost feels like things changed. That is the other way around. How does it work? I might be wrong, because I might be wrong. But then how does it work now? What's the process? If let's say someone comes to you, I need a head chef, for example, or a commis chef, whatever the position. What's the process from when they come to you to when you find the right person for them?
So every business needs a balance between employer and employee rights, and there should be equal parity there. Okay, so that's how it should be. What happened a few years ago was the employee was holding the employer to ransom. So you'd have a brigade of chefs coming in a restaurant on a Friday night saying, "We want this. If you don't get it, we're all going to walk out. We'll walk to another restaurant and we'll start working there tomorrow." So then you were having people who were holding business owners to ransom, and it was wrong. And I think now we've got a steady stream of recruitment coming into the sector. That's balanced out now, so it's more of a balance. And I think you'll find in the hospitality sector, the employers are a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? They're fair. They're a lot fairer. They treat people better. They give them more time off. The wages are better. The work conditions are better. You're not working 70, 80, 90 hours a week like you used to in the past. You can't get dismissed. We've got fantastic employment laws. Employees got fantastic protection. So I think an employee chooses the business, but equally an employer will find the right fit for the person as well. Bearing in mind, you've now got the globe to find your people. The entirety of the world is available to you. So to find your people, your pond of talent isn't small, it's international.
You think that was what Brexit kind of like changed?
Yeah.
So that, because before I think it was more of like, oh, we need someone, well, let's look for Romanians, let's look for Polish, let's look for Portuguese, and it was kind of, that was the mixture, right, to a degree, I think. And then everything kind of changed with
So I think what certainly, I know what's happened is the people we brought over, and other businesses now bring their own people over that don't use me as much as they used to, which I expected. I peaked after COVID, and then it's gone down to about half what I was doing. So I've still got a steady business of hospitality recruitment, but not as much. But what happens is I will get a good chef into a kitchen. let's say the Royal Yacht, for example, just as a hotel, the Royal Yacht. And the Royal Yacht will say, he's fantastic, and they'll work with him, they get a relationship, and he may go from CDP to Sue, and they think, is there any more like you at home? So then they self-recruit from the good people they get. So then that person will say, yeah, we have. I know 5 guys I work with in the kitchen in wherever. And we start getting that self-generating recruitment from good people here. And that's happening across all nations, India, Pakistan. If you look at the diverse mix of nationals within our hospitality sector, that's because people are recommending people and saying it's a good place to be. Jersey's a fantastic place to be. It's a nice place to be. It's European, and people are coming here getting fantastic experience. And when they go back home, certainly for the African nations, they're 3-4 levels up when they return home to cook in their kitchens because they've got the European experience.
But how do you? Because that's in a way is a downside for you, right? It's good for it in a way. It's good for the industry because if let's say I recommend someone, and I'm doing a good job first of all because I feel that's how the power of your word comes from. You know, if let's say I do a good job for Royal Yacht and I recommend someone from, let's say I'm from Philippines, because I know situations with Filipino guys that, you know, that kind of like recommend one another and they all do amazing job. And the recruiter, which is in this situation, I can even mention like Kyoto Restobar. So the owner there, you know, brought one in. He was very happy, and then another one came in, and another one. They all recommended one another, but that's a downside in a way for your business to a degree, right? How do you kind of like work with that? Because why should they come to you? You know, to you recommend them instead of like doing this almost like a roller coaster of one recommending one another? What's the process? What's the different process you offer to these businesses? You know.
So I think it's good for the sector. Let's admit it's fantastic for hospitality and it's good for Jersey and it's good for Guernsey. So this is a good thing. Commercially, I've had gains on it and I continue to have a gain on it. It's just not to the level that it was at the beginning. As a businessman, I expected that. I've planned for it and I've appreciated it. This is why I work in several other sectors now: construction, health, and we diversify our business. We don't have all our eggs in one basket, i.e. hospitality. But what we do find is that our clients who have used it in the past, when they do need something, they know we're here, they'll come back to us. When they've got a query about a work permit or a process, they'll come back to us and use us for that. We have become the island's experts in work permits. We have become the island's experts in the process of immigration. We work closely with both governments. We work closely with the Chamber of Commerce on this. We work closely with the Hospitality Association. So we don't just see it as a recruiter. It's almost like a community service. This is something that's helping the economy. And also the impact for anybody that works here from most of the nations, the impact they have back home is absolutely immense. So what they're doing back home for having this job here, and I've been there and I've been to Africa and I've seen the difference it makes to having somebody actually have electricity in their house for the first time in their family's life because they're working as a housekeeper here. They've got a fridge, the first time in the generations of their family. It's a TV. Their sisters are reading books and doing homework at night time by electricity because they're working in a hotel housekeeping.
Yeah, that's amazing. But then for someone that wants to start from scratch and think like, you know what, I don't want to almost like, I guess, you know, it's probably going to come to money to a degree, but I don't want to pay that fee. I want to do this myself. Would you recommend that? I mean, is that a higher risk? Is that something that you say, you know, you don't really know what you're doing? What
we are seeing, unfortunately, is bad recruitment, bad employment processes. We're seeing people who are recruiting outside Jersey for Jersey, and we as an island or as government or immigration have no control over that. So we're seeing people coming in for jobs and they're getting charged 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, even in one case I know of, £8,000 for that job, for that referral.
Wow.
So we are seeing people who have been exploited. So we need some form, as far as I'm concerned, some form of a working standard. If you're going to recruit and bring people into the island, into any sector, whether that be hospitality, health or whatever, the recruitment process that you do should match an accredited standard, which should be set by the jurisdiction you're in. So whether that's Jersey, Guernsey, the Isle of Man or the UK, And any recruitment provider, whether that be a recruitment team within a big business, a hotel, or whether that be a recruitment provider like me, should hit a gold standard, and there should be a standard, because at the end of the day, we're dealing with people's lives. People are traveling 4, 5, 6,000 miles to come and work here and support us. And then it doesn't matter where they're from, the person that arrives in this island should be treated as though they're from this island. And they should be treated exactly the same as employment, their standard of living, everything. There's no difference in the differentiation in pay. There's no difference in work practices or the living standards. They're human beings, and they deserve the respect and to be treated exactly the same as that person from Jersey, Guernsey, or the Isle of Man.
How important are these people? Probably not just for hospitality, but for the workforce overall in Jersey, because some of the arguments are like, well, stop bringing people. Like you do have that side of people which are against migration, and how do you see this?
Let's be brutally honest about this. Majority, if there's 1,000 jobs in hospitality, maybe 10 or 20 people in Jersey are going to want to do them. What happens to the other 97% of those jobs? People are going to say, keep the jobs for ourselves. People don't want to do the jobs. There's very few professional hospitality workers from Jersey who are in Jersey. They may do the courses and travel the world. They want to go and see the world, and they may do come back. But our F&B level, our junior kitchen level, our housekeeping level, our front of house, all those roles need to be filled. We have a massive finance industry in this island, and tourism. That's got to be fed. Without that waiter on the Grand Terrace or on the Radisson Terrace serving that drink, those canapes, all that food, or turning down that bed at night, we haven't got that support sector. So we're going to lose connectivity. We're going to lose travel. We're going to lose economy. You're not going to get business people coming here. All of a sudden, when you get a high net worth person coming here who's putting in millions of pounds into the island, they think there's got to be somewhere better to do that. So it's integral to the economy. Our hospitality sector is integral to our economy.
Yeah, I think some people are almost taking this for granted. That we don't want certain people to come in to, let's say, do our meals and cook that takeaway, but we still want to order it. So how is it that going to work? Where is the balance in a way? They just I guess don't see the problem that's a lot more deeper than just at the surface.
It's a minority, isn't it?
You're right. Yeah,
let's be honest, it's a minority.
It is.
It's all these. I would say all these people who are sitting behind a keyboard and making these comments. This is where it all comes from. And we are a social media driven society these days, and everybody's got a voice. And sometimes those voices are listened to. Everybody's got an opinion. But what we're rubbish at in Jersey is celebrating success. We'll always focus on the negative and make a big thing out of a problem. So if you look at our sector, we've done amazing things to the sector, absolutely amazing things, but we'll still focus on that bad takeaway, that bad service, and we forget just how absolutely fantastic our hospitality sector, and more importantly, our hospitality workers are. They are world class. And the world class because they're from around the world as well. We have some world class hotels, restaurants, Michelin stars. So this is what we should be talking about, shouting about, and not always going on about the negative.
One thing that I want to talk about, because you mentioned about world class and being at a high level, and I think to a degree certain places still are, and I think they kept really well. Some struggle because, again, whether they try to lower their prices, they go with lower quality ingredients. There is a degree there that's challenging, I think, these days. But in terms of staff specifically, one of the, because I meet people, just not on the podcast, like off the podcast, and we have chats, and because I used to work as a chef, so one of the things they mention, and I'm not saying all of them, I guess it comes with laziness as well, I must say right from the beginning, to a degree, that, we've got, I don't know how many people coming from Africa, and they don't know the basics, or they don't know certain jobs. I think they almost expect them to go into the job and then just run the kitchen right from the beginning. How does the training part work? Do you help with training? How does it work, to kind of like bring them to the Jersey standard?
So if you've got the passion, desire, the basic knowledge and the drive to do something, the other skills can be learnt. So if I go into a chef into a three-star restaurant hotel, and then I'm elevated to a 5-star, my skill set is going to need to be sharpened to match service. If I'm a 5-star chef and I got to go into a 3-star, the skills that I need for that fine dining isn't going to be needed. So I think it's getting the skill set in there, but it still needs developing. It's in any business. If you go and start working as a funds administrator in any business, you're not going to know how that business runs. You can take you 3-4 weeks or 3-4 months to understand process practices. And it's the same as a kitchen. It's too easy to say he's rubbish because his first week he couldn't do this. Batten a carrot. The batten of a carrot may be a different terminology. For example, give an example of construction. I had a chap in construction, and I said, "Can you operate a cherry picker?" Cherry picker is one of these cradle things, and he didn't know what it was. But when we showed him what it was, actually gave him a picture, he went, "Yeah, but he knew it by a different name." So it's just that understanding. I think what we are getting very good at, certainly in GR8, is managing expectations and letting people know what to expect when they arrive here. So when they arrive, there's no real surprises.
Yeah, because the reason why I said the part when I said laziness, I think it comes sometimes from head chefs, executive chefs. For example, when I had Will Holland from Atlantic, he said, like, I actually prefer people that don't have a high amount of skills because I can change the way they think, the way I kind of want them to be, because and I guess we are creatures of habit. If let's say we were used to do something, let's say making bread, like the basic, in a certain way, it'll be very challenging to change our way of doing it in a different way, good or bad. So I guess it's good if you don't even know most of the things and just learn them on the job. But I guess that comes with attitude and everything else. But that's your job to find people with attitude, I guess, right? And put them in the right places.
Yeah. That's what we do. We work with our clients, and what we also do as a recruiter is we don't just employ and forget. So if we've got somebody coming over from Sri Lanka and they're feeling the first few weeks they're having a bad time, homesick, we will work with the employer and the individual employee to bridge that gap, to mentor or to mediate as well.
You mentioned about accommodation. How does it work now? Because I talked to, I can't remember, I think it must have been Simon Saw, and I feel like okay again, I'm not right into hospitality as deep as you are at this point. It feels like, or maybe in a few years, probably not now, not right now, it feels like almost places that only have accommodation will survive, and the others will have a really, really tough time, to get not just people from Europe or from overseas, overall, I think it'll be really, really challenging. How does that work now, accommodation, for staff?
Is it challenging, or is industry just saying it's challenging?
Well, I don't really know, to be fair. Yeah. So the thing is, I don't know how it works. Like, if let's say for smaller establishments, because let's say hotels, they almost made the way that they can manage that. Whether they transform other places into accommodation because they have bigger purchasing power, but like smaller restaurants, for example, or takeaways. How do they do that?
Okay, so I work with a lot of small restaurants. They come to me and say, "Help me with accommodation," and I've never not found accommodation.
Okay, so if they come to you, then you'll make it happen.
Not once. So we had to turn somebody away from a job in Jersey because we couldn't find them accommodation.
Okay. That's great. That's great, because I thought that, that's because when I talk to people that restaurants owner, probably not the ones that work with agencies, again, they might do things on their own. So that's why they find it even more challenging, because that's where. So
I'm not saying it's not a problem. I'm not saying that it can't be done better. So Simon Saw's idea of converting empty office space into staff accommodation is fantastic. The infrastructure there can be done. The planning process can be adapted. It should be quite a simple thing, really. I don't believe in government fixing our problems. I think we should fix our problems. We're making the money out of this business. It's our problem. It's not government's problem. What government should do is give us some mechanics to make things work. So if they need to order machinery, maybe look at a policy to change a planning application so we can get more people into suitable accommodation. They can help us with that. But I really don't agree in the JHA or other people shouting and screaming at, or other sectors shouting and screaming at government saying, give us more money, because they've given us the tools. They've given us a work permit policy in two guises. They could be improved, but it's working. So,
but do you think that hospitality is a priority on the island, like from the government level?
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah. I'm never going to be in government, and I admire anybody who goes and sits in their house and does it, because it takes some balls to do it. It's not a job I want. I don't want to put my head in a block and have all the abuses hurled at them daily. It's bang out of order. That's bang out of order as far as I'm concerned. But I think that they're very much into it. I meet with ministers occasionally, some more than others, and they're very much focused on the hospitality sector as a thriving sector, a major part of our economy and our community, and they're very, very much behind it. But like I say, we as an industry, I think, should be concentrating on doing the business and making the things work and looking at the barriers and overcome them. Work permits, for example, we're currently going for this thing where the Hospitality Association are complaining about the 3-year. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. The 3-year thing was given us by the government. So what we could do, we get a worker in for 3 years, and during that 3-year period, we can then upskill them to a level where they can then get promoted and get a skilled visa and stay here. So the continuity of it, I think hotels and other businesses are not playing the game of those 3-year permits as they should do. It's something that's been given to us. We knew what we were given when we asked for it. That's what we asked for. Now we're saying, oh, it's not working. We want to change it. Why don't we, instead of having 9-month permits, have 11-month permits? So they do 11 months instead of 9 months. They go home for 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, and they come back. They're never going to get their residency. So that works for the island. You're getting continuity of somebody for 10 years if you want, but they're going home for 4 weeks holiday. Why not make that change? Instead of doing 9 months, 3 months, because you did something 3 months, you do it 11 months, 1 month off. Simple.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why I ask is if it's a priority or not. It wasn't really a tricky question, or to say that I'm not agreeing, because I genuinely don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't really know, like, higher up, like how it works. I'm sure, like, you have a lot more conversations with these guys, to see how it works. Because it's exactly as you said earlier. Let's say you're working in the finance sector, you make loads of money, you still want to have a bit of fun. How do you do it? Hospitality. It's kind of like that. And if that is not there, what are you going to do? Just order stuff from Amazon?
What are you going to do at Christmas?
Yeah. There's so many things that staff parties, for example. When you do end of month drinks, because I know I'm part of the social committee at work as well, and all these, to a degree, in a way or another, whether it's a supplier bringing the drinks in, even if, let's say, we do most of the stuff ourselves, they're still part of the hospitality, right? So you still need these people to bring you the drinks. Canapes, again, related to hospitality. Singers, everything else, related to it. I think, yeah.
But look at all the support that hospitality has. So, Angora Besco, they do the laundry. So without work permit holders, they couldn't get the laundry done. Angora Besco is a backup to the hospital. If the hospital laundry goes down, Angora is there to support them. So that's a crucial part of it. They couldn't operate without laundry workers. So we worked with immigration and we said, they're an integral part of hospitality. They didn't fit the mold at the time, but immigration agreed, and they changed the policy so we could employ housekeeping staff into the laundries, so they can put bed sheets on the beds of hotels. Easy Mine, drivers, truck drivers, things like that. All these things are all intrinsic to the ability for that.
It's all connected.
For you and I to sit in. Let's try and find another pub now. In St Mary's, my local, St Mary's. For me to be able to sit there and have my pint of San Miguel at night time with my mates, I need that whole supply chain there to work. So it's not just the end user. So we need to focus on the entirety of the sector and all who supports it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one parts of people being angry, and I think sometimes they probably might be right. I don't know because I don't know exactly the insights. With we're not going to name exactly because I don't want to get. I generally don't know the insights of like the recent businesses going down. Like some of the bar restaurants or whatever, even takeaways to a degree. So I don't know exactly. I don't want to say that I do because I don't. And you probably know more. It's up to you whether you want to talk about it or not. But I feel like we also need to treat this as businesses, not necessarily like something that you open it and it's going to be there forever. Because hospitality or a restaurant is exactly the same like having any other businesses in financial industry. If you make bad decisions, it might lead to this. So it's not necessarily just, oh yeah, do something for us. And they could do more, I guess, these days. I'm not saying that they shouldn't, or I'm not saying they do enough, because I don't know. But we also need to look at ourselves. If let's say we own these businesses, have we made bad decisions, that led to, the closure of the business? And I feel like that's not mentioned enough. What do you think?
I think it's tragic when you see somebody who's put their heart and soul into business and it fails. I was recently at the day Nude Food announced. I was in the restaurant with their staff when they announced it, and I was there and I said, listen, I'm going to get all you people who are on work permits jobs. And within 2 days, every one of those people had a job. And we did that free of charge. We went in there, we knew the problem. We want to support the industry. So as a businessman, if I make bad decisions, if I make a wrong investment, if I take money out of my business for something I want, or there's a whole host of factors in there that could hurt me. And if it's my action that's caused that, then I can only look at myself in the mirror and say, well, I had something to do with that. Of course, we've got the high prices and things like that. I just on the way here, I went to get a can of Coke and a bacon sandwich from a sandwich walking. So I just walked in from St Mary's, £9. And I'm like, I looked at it, I thought, £9, 2 slices of bacon, a bread roll, and a can of Coke. And I don't mind spending money. Even I thought, wow, that's a bit expensive. So marginal gain. I think you need to look at your margins. They're now talking about the living wage. I think everybody should be given a good wage. I think everybody should be able to live. Is the minimum wage too low? Yeah, quite possibly it is. Do we treat our hospitality workers fairly? Do they get the money they deserve? Some do. Some probably get underpaid. They get the tips, but you can't really rely on that. It's a tough sector. I've owned my own restaurant. I've worked in restaurants. I've cooked in restaurants. I understand what it's like and the troubles, but it comes down to the fact: if you've got a car and you abuse it and you don't put fuel in it, you don't service it, you don't change the tires, that car's going to break down. So put that analogy into a business. If you don't take care of your business, feed it, invest in it, treat it right, clean it, make sure it's roadworthy, clean the windows, your journey is going to be smoother. But if you treat your business, if you treat your car like a wreck, expect it not to move anywhere.
And it's not to say that New, because I don't know. Again, it's not to say that New did this, but I think in general, I think it's a great way of putting it, because I think we are on the same page with this, right? It's like. It's like any business.
But I'm not saying that about New Food at all. But
no, in general, we're talking here.
What Jackson and Lucy went through is absolutely horrendous, and I feel for him.
Yeah,
I walked out of their restaurant today and I was crying. I was really upset for them. I don't know the ins and outs of the business, but the fact is, whatever it was, that business went under, and the analogy about the car isn't about their business at all.
Yeah.
I use the New Food as a business where we went in to support and help out, and I would do that time after time after time. I hope I never have to do it again, but because as a prominent recruiter in that sector, we will do all we can for our sector. And if Jackson and Lucy are watching, hearing this, I wish you all the very, very best for the future. And anybody else anybody out there who's struggling,
No, absolutely.
I urge them to speak to people like Jersey Business, JHA, get the advice, go to the banks, speak to people. Don't put your head in the sand and think it's going to be okay. Just really share your problems, because I think people who are having issues and problems would be amazed how much help is out there if they actually come and ask him. Because if you don't ask, you're not going to get.
Yeah, but now talking about the employees, if let's say I am from Kenya and I was to work for Nude Food, you was not to get involved, what would have happened to me?
I don't know.
What's the situation where someone comes all the way from Kenya to work here?
Okay. First of all, there'll be things in place. The Jersey Immigration, Customs Immigration Services are second to none. Absolutely fantastic in their support. So when you get an individual going there with a problem, they're going to bend over backwards to support that person. I've seen it time and time again. Okay, when we've had a bad employer treat employee badly, that person's gone down to the Maritime House, and they've been seen, they've been taken care of. Fantastic. So that person would have been helped by immigration if I hadn't been there. I think the JHA may have jumped in and said to the sector, "Can we help?" Because my first phone call was to Marcus. So Marcus, we've got these people. Can we get comms out to industry? So comms went out to industry through Chris Rayner, from Direct Input, for their media agents. The phone didn't stop ringing. We had all a group of people in our offices within 4 or 5 hours, CVs, registrations, and that afternoon we had 2 interviews and job offers. So that's what the JHA probably could have done. It just so happened that I caught the ball first and I dealt with it. About
the JHA, how important is this for the hospitality industry? How is your relationship with them?
See, I'm not. I'm a partner of JHA. I'm not a member. I'm not a hospitality business. I'm a support. They support the industry in the way that they see fit. That they're the link between industry and government, just like Chamber of Commerce is that, or the other organisations as well. They've probably got a very tough job to do. Marcus and Anna are doing, as I see it, a good job. Is it a job I'd want to take on? I don't think so. I'd imagine it's very, 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 very tough, as well as running your own business as well. Supporting my colleague in Guernsey for the GHA, who Simon Saw helped set up when he was GHA. Alan was running a hotel, and being JHA, he'd had to leave the hotel business because to be part of the JHA, Guernsey Hospitality Association. So the fact that Marcus and Anna run a successful business in Jersey and support industry as well, I take my hat off to them.
Yeah, that's because it is a lot.
Yeah,
and
I bet their phone will not stop. Yeah. When something goes wrong, it'll be like a bat phone. It'll just be ring, 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 ring. And it's a tough old job.
Today's episode was brought to you with the support of our friends at Kyoto Restobar. From their izakaya dishes to the most delicious sushi in Jersey, Kyoto Restobar is the place you should have in mind for your next on-island Japanese experience. Whether you choose to dine in or order online, I promise that you won't be disappointed. And now, back to the episode.
I don't know, you see, like, it feels like recently, or since they took over, I also know a bit more. Maybe I just wasn't, looking, enough, and I wasn't. I didn't need any advice from them, because I guess even before, when Simon was there, I'm sure he would have tried his best and so on. But recently, they seem to be, in the past year since they took over, they seem to be a lot more active. I guess that also came with a lot more challenging that we're facing at this time. So that's why probably they'll be more present.
I've been involved in JHA since Simon Saw took over, and I think Simon was exceptional at what he did, and his passion for it, and the fact that he worked the hours and nearly made a meal. He got the industry through COVID fantastically. Claire came along, did what she did. Marcus and Anna now doing a great job, and like I say, they're doing the job as well as running a restaurant. Simon's doing it as a full-time job, and he didn't have a full-on hospitality business to run as well. So, yeah, they are doing a good job, and I think certainly in the era of Simon, I know for a fact just how much he personally took it. I also know it as a friend of mine, the toll it took him as well. So I can imagine Marcus and Anna do have a hard time, but they're doing the best. They're doing the very, very best. They're good people. They're experienced people. But like I say, doing that job and running a business,
Tough.
Good on you guys. Well done.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You said that Simon helped, setting up the GHA. How is the relationship between the islands? Because
Fantastic.
you are on both sides, good. kind of like knowing how.
Good. We've introduced them, Marcus and Alan. We've done introductions in the past. We've introduced the Chamber of Commerce of Jersey, Guernsey, and the Isle of Man together. We had them all here in the summer. We had lunch and dinner. So I think about cross-border work, pan-island working is imperative. We all face similar problems. Why reinvent the wheel? We can all collectively find solutions for it. So yeah, it's a good relationship. I'm over there. I'm in Guernsey on Wednesday, seeing clients and the GHA and government over there. It's like I said before, that both GHA and JHA are facing the same problems. I know the Isle of Man now are looking at a similar Isle of Man Hospitality Association based on Jersey and Guernsey. So the model we've got here is working, and because people are copying it, so it's good.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, absolutely. It says that it's doing something good for the industry.
Yeah, and good people running it as well. People who care about the industry.
Well, it's really important because I don't really know much Marcus and Anna. I met them a few times, had like a brief chat, nothing more. But you got to kind of like do something for this industry, especially when your business is in it. Because if they were running like a totally different business, I'm like, okay, they probably see this as a job. But even from outside, not knowing them much, I'm sure that this is not the case. They're a lot more. They're invested like full on into what they do.
I bet you at 10 o'clock at night their phone will ring, and they'll pick it up because you got a hotel owner, cafe owner, restaurant owner who's like, oh shit, what's going on? Who do we call? And that's what they're going to do. And I would say they've got a young family. When they can, they'll pick it up, that phone. And if they can't, they've never not called me back. So yeah, is it recognised enough? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, this JHA is excellent.
Yeah, probably hospitality as a whole is not recognised enough in many people's eyes, I would say. I might be wrong, but I feel like, starting from a career as a chef, as a waiter and everything else, they're not seen as something, valuable.
Well, I think I work in the healthcare sector, earlier carers and things like that, and I speak to those industries as well, and they think people don't care about them. So it's a perception that we always feel we could do more in our sectors. For example, we just secured our first 10 healthcare earlier carers coming over to Jersey to take care of young children so people can go back to work. But all these sectors feel the pinch of recruitment, of issues, but there's always, it's our strap line, the right solution at the right time. There's always a solution to everything. We've just got to find it. And I think a collective of educators, business and government is key here. We can work with Highlands for the future. We can work with Skills Jersey for the future. We can work with government. We can work with industry. So I think all these issues that we're facing are overcomable. It's just the world's changed, isn't it? We got massive inflation. We got inflation. We got wars everywhere, and this has a direct impact. And these problems are not Jersey. They're Jersey, Guernsey, Isle of Man. They're the UK. They're Europe. Everywhere. Everything's going up. So it's a common problem. This is not unique to Jersey. It's not something we can just fix in Jersey.
Yeah, and sometimes it's unfair that certain people are blamed for it where it's not under their control, right? And yeah, that's how I see it.
My £9 bacon butty and can of Coke, I'm not blaming that business. I just know
what happens behind the scenes.
What happens behind the scenes, and you think they've got to make a margin. They've got to make a living. They've got to pay for their mortgage, send their kids to school, put fuel in their car, employ their staff, pay their rent. So they've got to do that as well. It's one of those things, and it's not that business's fault. That's just the world we live in.
Yeah, there was also talking about the two islands, because I want to kind of like go back at that, just because there was, I don't know whether an initiative, it was just kind of a talk at this point, I guess, about making Jersey or Channel Islands as a whole, as a destination. How do you see that?
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant idea. I think Visit Channel Islands is great. You can have a multi-stop holiday. Connectivity between the islands should improve. You've got Visit Jersey, Visit Guernsey, Alderney. You think what we've got here, we've got all these little gems, and if we marked them as a whole, I think we could enjoy it a lot more. If we could get a flight that did 4 flights between the islands every day, I think that certainly in the height of the season, they'd be full. Connectivity to Alderney. Alderney's a beautiful place, absolutely stunning.
Not been yet, I need to.
Not many people go there, but you go there, it's fantastic. Sark, all these things. I think what we're pretty poor at as islands is our silo approach. We're Jersey, we're Guernsey. No.
That's why I'm asking, because that's the main challenge I see. Like, although certain institutions work well, I think even like the basic person, like the regular Joe perception, between working with Guernsey, come on, we are Jersey, we are better, or probably the other way around. I see these all the time. Not necessarily, I don't have that in myself. I'm Romanian, for me, it's really hard to kind of like differentiate the two at that level.
So you've got the Chamber of Commerce Hospitality Committee, and then you got the Jersey Hospitality Association. I guarantee they both work in silos, and I think if those two, even in our island, we have silos working. I know we have it in government. Absolutely happens in government, but it's more of that good communication will improve. So if we can get rid of our little islands within our island and then open up to Guernsey, and they can do the same thing, because it's exactly the same thing over there, and say, why can't we have a Visit Channel Island strategy? Why can't we put together a package to the world, say, visit the Channel Islands? The Channel Islands are beautiful. The history, the heritage, the beaches, the countryside, the people, the food, the links to France, all these things. All these amazing things that we as Channel Islanders share. Wouldn't it be great to have it Visit Channel Islands? Wouldn't it be great to see that in the news and have the two flags sort of flying side by side and saying, this is what we, and it's only an hour journey across on the Condor or whatever ferry company's going to be here at the time for a day trip or an overnight trip, or you could do it. 2 hotels could team up and they could have a two centre holiday where you can have 4 nights in Longville Manor and then 4 nights in St Pierre Park in Guernsey.
Offer that as a package, over islands.
As a package, and with the connectivity between it as well. So those sort of things, all of a sudden you're creating a bit more of a vibe.
Yeah, no, amazing ideas, and I like that. Yeah, what you said with the packages, have a few nights here, have a few nights there, and then it just in a, let's say, a week or two, kind of almost like get the taste of the whole thing.
Yeah, get on a ridge tour, go across the Sark, get down to the Minkies at low tide, go on the sandbank, have a barbecue. Beautiful. Look, we've got the most gorgeous Channel Islands. I'm a Jerseyman. I love Jersey. Guernsey is equally as beautiful, and I'll get killed for saying so. The people are equally friendly. If anything, when you sail in St. Peterport, it is picturesque. St. Heliers is not as pretty. I don't think anybody will agree to that. But both islands have got so much to give, the tourism sector. There's so many opportunities for people to come and work, so much scope for amazing holidays, amazing experiences, great food. It's a real gem.
Do you think, like, at this point we do a bad way? I mean, when I say we, whoever has the power at advertising this, this beauty?
I think Visit Jersey do an amazing job. I think could they do better? It's not for me to say. It's not my thing. But what I see, I like. Same with Guernsey. But I think that joined up thinking
will be so much more powerful.
Could be, yeah. But why not give it a try? What you got to lose?
True.
It's only,
I'm sure the numbers will not go down. Will not go any lower than they probably already are.
No, you think the connectivity, Guernsey Airport can't take big aircraft, Jersey can. So if we do that 2 centre, so they're flying to Jersey because we've got the runway, can take the EasyJets, and then we have a link, a smaller aircraft that goes into Guernsey for that connectivity, all of a sudden we're sharing, and the pool of tourists may increase. And do you think a marginal increase of 2 or 3% on tourism could have a multi-million-pound effect on the economy?
True, because there's so many things connected to it. People that come here, they spend money in all sorts of other directions, not just necessarily in a hotel or for a meal. Yeah, you're totally right with that.
Yeah, the buses, car parks, car hire, cycle hire, all of it.
They're all connected.
And it's so beautiful.
Yeah. Now, you are connected, because they're staying on the connection part, with Jersey, Guernsey, like the whole pretty much Channel Island. And now you also do the UK, in terms of recruitment. And focusing obviously still on hospitality. How do you see the future of hospitality recruitment?
We're building more hotels, which is good. I think the project to build a hotel up by the airport and the sports centre is going to be world class. I think that's going to be absolutely fantastic. We do need the beds. I think the destination hotels, I think they're going to be a bit of a thing of the past. I think you're going to come to the hotel for somewhere to stay, get a bite to eat, and maybe a beer at night. The idea of going to a hotel where you're going full experience, you're going to get all inclusive, you're going to get a swimming pool, you're going to get this and that and that. I think that's going to change. So you want to come to Jersey or Guernsey, stay in the hotel, and then explore and go out.
So are we moving towards a Premier Inn situation where you get there, you have your average breakfast, and then you move on with your day and come back in the evening?
Premier Inn, boutique hotels, those nice sort of, dare I say, Airbnbs. Have they got a place? Because they're still going to need cleaning, housekeeping. They're still going to need probably food, however that's going to work. So, but Premier Inn sort of model. But I'd like to see more Premier Inn, more boutique-y. Is it the Ibis Classic or whatever it is?
Yeah, they've got a few variations.
So where you go into
style and I can't remember.
That sort of thing, yeah. So when you walk into there, you get that. If you want to go for the cheap and cheerful, £65 a night, it's there. It's there for you. If you want to go for the boutique, you spend £90 a night. Or if you want to go to the 5 stars and spend £250 a night.
Have the options.
Have the options. Or if you want to stay in a teepee at Durrell, it's there. Or the Zorms, the amazing little village got down there. All these great things that we got, and similarly in Guernsey as well. There's so much to do, and I think we can do so much more. When I say we, I mean the industry, the sector.
Yeah, because it's
the sector.
But you're part of it, If you're not there, the whole chain, has got to suffer. So, we.
Yeah, it's a collective. It's a collective. I get very excited about hospitality because I like the hospitality sector. For my father had the drive-in barbecue at Gorey, so it's been in my blood for a number of years. I've had a restaurant. I know how tough it is to work in the hospitality sector. Haven't had my own restaurant, so I know exactly the pains that people go through. But it's a good industry. It's a good career to have. We work with Highlands College. Highlands College, this year's culinary arts program, I think is 4 times higher than it was last year. So we've got more young chefs going through.
Is it actually? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing, because that's something that kind of worries me. It's like not having people that at least get the taste, whether they wanna continue or not. I think it's great if you just have a sense whether you want to do it as a career or not. Even if you go through the school and it's like, hospitality is not for me, out. But at least you tried it.
So what we find with Highlands is we early year carers and other courses that they do up there, they use it as a stepping stone to something else. So you may get a young chef who will do 2 years in Highlands, will do their placements in Orma or these high end restaurants. And once they got their commis, they're thinking, I can go and work in Australia for 2 years. I can go and work in USA.
True.
So the retention locally is low, but they can always come back.
Yeah.
So, but it's getting that passion for the hospitality sector, because I've got many great friends in the hospitality sector, and it's their passion. It's what they love. It's what they love doing. They love seeing the smile on people's faces. They love seeing the good food going out, people having a good time. It's what they do. It's hard to say it's vocational, but certainly for the guys, from my experience, from guys from Kenya, Sri Lanka that I've brought in, their love of the sector is infectious, because they just love making sure people get good service. I've worked with housekeepers in Kenya, and then there's one chap, he's working in Guernsey now. He said, my life is dedicated to housekeeping, the guest experience. So when they get into their room, everything is perfect.
Okay, perfect. For people that want to find more about yourself, get in touch with you, all the information, where do they find you?
It's all on the website, GR8Recruitment.com. We're all there. Search GR8 Jersey, Lee Madden. I've just returned from Kenya, so we work in pan sector and a number of sectors there, but we went to Tali College, which is where we first started. Everybody has tribal names in Kenya, and I was given the honour of being called Kwendo. So Kwendo is a Kenyan name. It's my director was with me at the time. Big shout out to my team as well. Without a shadow of a doubt, any success at GR8 is down to the team I have. Shout out to Holiday, who runs the rest of the world recruitment. Di is my local operations. Denise Evie, who's a seasoned hospitality professional, absolutely loves what you do. Absolutely amazing job. Lorraine, who's running the Guernsey office. Andy and Sarah, who have joined us. Our lovely Brett, who takes care of the construction sector. And finally, big shout out to Noella, who is our office and accounts person. So my team is my magic. It lets me do this, and we've built it from the last 6 years to where it is today. And I think to end, I wish everybody in the hospitality sector all the very, very best. It's amazing what they all do. I look forward to supporting them more in the future. And if there's anything I can do to support the industry, I'm a phone call away.
That's amazing. Yeah, I like that you really believe in your team, and you give them all this recognition, because without them, I guess you wouldn't be in the situation where you are. Everybody
I've brought across to Jersey or Guernsey from wherever in the world, they're part of my team, and I believe in every one of them. Even if they don't work for me, they're part of the GR8 family, and they're doing us all proud. That's amazing. Lee, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. We found so many valuable information. Thank you.